Alright. Sorry about that. I had a few issues before, but it's all fixed now. Now, what I'm going to do next, let me just play some music. Okay, so where was I? All right. Okay, basically when we are starting with a oh, where was I? Oh yeah, there. Basically, hang on, let me just redo this one. Call it player main, because it's probably going to contain more than just the player. So what we're going to do first is we're going to open this up in Visual Studio. So, and then what we're going to do next is we're going to sort of prepare. First off, let's prepare some actions, shall we? Let's prepare some methods the character can do. He can jump, and I'm pretty sure he can, well, attack, I guess. Whoops. He can jump, he can attack. And I guess he can take damage. He could take damage, although we'll give him we'll give it an integer, so we can indicate how much damage he is taking. So aside from that, let's also set the player's health. Now here's the thing that I'm confused about. I mean, not confused, but indecisive about. Should I make the player be able to... Should the player's health be something similar to an RPG where you have like 100 hearts and if you run out of those hearts you'll die? Or should I have it sort of similar to Mario where unless you're holding onto a special ability you will die if you are hit? I mean, since I'm aiming for this to be like a sort of fantasy game, I guess I should do it the traditional RPG style. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an int folder. I'm going to create I'm going to create a public int called current health. And I'm going to make another int I'm going to make a private int called max health. Now what current health will do is display, it's basically store, basically, to start from the beginning, what we're going to do is, what I have done is declare two separate variables located on the top of the script. The current health will show the player's current health. Has he taken damage? How many hearts does he have? And we're also going to set the maximum amount of health, because honestly, the player needs to have limits. So the player's current health is at, oh, and let's initialize them. Let's implement them. When we're starting to run this character script, we need to set the current health to equal 0. To equal 100, my bad. Oh, that's another thing we can do. No, wait. Never mind. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, we'll type in void start. When the game starts, the current health of the player will equal 100. And before we do anything else with the player, let's ensure that the health stays the same. If the current health is more than the max health, set the current health to equal the max health. The reason why we want to do this is because if the player's health drops, if the player is healed, we need to make sure that it doesn't go over the limit. So if the current health is bigger than the max health, then set the current health to max health. Else, if the current health is less than 0, set the current health to 0. Now what this will do is, if the player is damaged, and, well, basically if the character's health reaches 0, he'll die. But what we don't want is, when he dies, we don't want the health to be, let's say, -50. We need to set a limit to how low the health can go. So, which is why, if the current health is less than 0, then set the health to 0. He'll still die, but at least he's not even more dead. Sorry. Anyway, there's something else I need to mention. I know there was something else I needed to do here. I guess at the moment we can just leave it at that, unless I'm forgetting something. Now, oh yeah, we need to make a new Alright, first off, we need to make a new game object. Call this player character. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to set this to GameObject dot find GameObject with tag, and we're going to set the tag to player. Now, what we just did here is we declared a because okay, so what we did here, oh no, wait, sorry, we don't need to do this because can't we just do this? Maybe not. Okay, for now let's just stick with this. Basically what we're doing is, if we come back to here, we have our player here. And we have our player here. We also have our script player main with the current health set to 0 as it says by default up here. And basically what we want to do is set this to player. So what this script will do, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a way that you can determine find game object with tag player. Okay, so what this will do is it will look at all the game objects that are currently in the scene, and it will point this declared variable towards the object that has this tag. So therefore in the player main script I said game object player character is equal to game object dot find game object with tag player. So what this will do is, since this is the only player here, it will point to this player. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a simpler way of doing this because the player main script is attached to the player, so I'm pretty sure there's a way you could sorry about that. Basically, so where was I? There's bound to be a better way of doing this because what I've done here is I gave Unity basically an unnecessary job, and generally you want to use find with tag on objects that aren't directly associated with the game object your script is currently attached. In fact, let me just search up Unity this game object. Yes. Okay, anyway, so basically what we'll do is anyway, I'll get back to this in a minute. Find better solution. Anyway, we'll go back to this in a sec. What we need to do now is basically what I want to do. Basically what you want to do here is Okay. Now, before we... But... I mean... Alright, let me just start back here. Basically, I declared a game object where I declared a new game object, called it player character, and basically, you would probably want that to be camel case, but basically I pointed it to whatever game object. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at explaining, but basically what I did was I declared a game object called player character. I then set this game object to the game object that this program can find with the tag player. And I've set this game object with the tag player. Although Unity does have a good point, I really should put this in start. And now, you might be asking yourself, why do you want the script to reference a game? Why would you want the script to reference the game object? Well, to start off with, well, there's a variety of different reasons. There's only so much you can do inside the engine without programming. And if you want to do stuff, actually do stuff with your game objects, you're going to need programming. And the way you can interact with these game objects using your code is by using the game object variable in the code. And basically what we're going to do now is that we're going to make this character move. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to make a public variable. We'll make this private. We'll make this private a bit later, but basically what we'll do is we'll set the default to 10. But what we want to do is basically what we did was we created a float called speed. And what a float is, it's the difference between an integer and a float is basically integers are whole numbers and floats are decimal numbers. There's a bunch of other things you can use, but we won't go into them. But anyway, the reason why I made this variable is because if we want to make the character move, we need to float translation. We need to first make a float, call it translation, and have that equal to input dot get axes, and basically we need to input the axes names. So let's go into Unity, go down to project settings, input, and for horizontal, what we're looking for is horizontal, because I want the character to move either left or right. So in order to do that, I need to use the horizontal axis. So you type the name of the horizontal axis in here, and then I'm going to times that by the speed times time dot delta time. And what this will do is it will, as it explains here, is what time.delta time will do is count the amount of seconds it took to complete the last frame. So it's kind of hard to explain without going into too much into detail. Anyway, what we need to do next is we need to modify the transform of the player. So player main, no, that's not right. I mean player character. I made a mistake. I'm supposed to declare it up here, but player character dot transform dot translate, and there's 5 overloads to this. There's the zero, 0, and 0. Now, what direction is he facing? He's most likely facing... No, wait. My mistake. There's only 2 directions he could be facing. There's... translation. 0. Now, if we go in here and hit play, the character should move. And there we go. The player is moving. Now, it is a little bit quick, so we can modify that in just a sec. So what we can do is we can modify it, so instead of moving at 10 times the speed, it could move at 5 times the speed. Okay, I think that's a little bit too slow, so I guess maybe 6.5. Anyway, where was I? Oh, whoops, sorry, I wasn't meant to have that shown. And that's our character moving. Now, the thing is, this kind of bothers me because the script is already attached to the game object, and I'm pretty sure there is a way you can point to that game object without having to go through .find. Ah. So I think if I do this dot game object and then I press play. So the find with game object was a bit unnecessary after all. Anyway, what should we do next? Alright, let's just attach the camera to the player for now, so it follows it along. This song sounds familiar. Oh, it's from Mother. Okay. Alright. Okay, guys. I'll be right back. I won't take too long. I'm going to leave the stream on, so don't you worry about me going offline again. So, let me just... Yeah. And make a little small text. Be right. Alright. That ought to do it. I'm back. Sorry about that. Let me just try and get back. Alright. How long was I gone for? I was gone for quite a bit. Sorry, guys. So where was I? Oh yeah, so I successfully managed to somewhat control the character so we can go backwards and forwards. But here's the thing. I never actually... Believe it or not, this, even though, despite me getting the character moving, the character isn't actually... He isn't being supported by any form of gravity. So if we go off the... If we go off the floor, he'll still be at the same place. The beauty with Unity is that it has a built-in gravity system, which prevents you from having to do anything major. So what we'll do now is we'll give this a box collider. And we'll also give the player a sprite collider. No. Now the thing is, I don't actually know if this will work. Because I don't know if the two colliders are different or the same. I mean, it's definitely not a character controller. Capital collider. Now, I don't know how this will go. Ah. Okay, now we've given our character some form of weight. And thanks to our two-dimensional rigid body. Now all we need to do is have this cube basically interact with it. So let me see what we can do. Oh, whoops. That's not what my intention was. So, as you can see, okay, here's what I've done. I've added hang on, let me see if the chat still works. Sorry guys, my program's being a bit messy here. Because I'm not sure it's working correctly. No, it should be working correctly. My mistake. Oh, the song is from Oblivion. Okay, now. Okay. So we've got two things currently working. We have a character that has simulated weight. And we have a surface it can land on, which allows the player to move backwards and forwards. There's something else I want to know. Okay, okay, now that we've gotten our character to move left and right, let's, I guess let's try and make him jump. Now, if float translation is equal to this, alright, and if we're going to do that, we need to make a new float called jump speed. And let's set that to 5 for now. We could always change it. And thank you, Nightbot. So the next thing we should do is make an if statement. If, hang on, but before I do, let me just add some comments. If you're programming, one of the most useful things you can do is add comments to your code to indicate what's going on. If the jump button is pressed, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to press, we're going to go into input.getAxis, and I could be wrong, and I'm going to double check this. Jump. To is equal to 1. Or does it work like that? Yeah, it's a float, so the left-hand side equal to 1. Actually, if it's more than or equal to 1, which indicates the button has been pressed, then it will activate the jump variable. And what this will do is... I've forgotten what... I'll be honest, I've forgotten what I did when it comes to jumping. So... let me just take a look at something real quick. I know I did something. I just can't remember what I did. Unity jump. Oh, that's right. We make a private bool called grounded, and that's set, and by default that's set to false. And by default that will be set to false. No, by default that would be set to true because typically the character will stay on the floor. So here's what we'll do. If the button is pressed and if the button is pressed, then what it will do is, if it's grounded, if grounded is equal to true, then move all right, my bad. Move direction. Now I'm not entirely sure with what the whole vector stuff does. Well, actually I do. It's just too annoying to explain. But move direction dot y. Oblivion music. Jump speed. And now, if we press space, did I type that correctly? Oh right, I forgot to put in all this. Move direction is equal to new vector 3. No wait, never mind. Oh, that's right. What am I using? Oh yes, I'm using Rigid Body 2D. Why don't I just do that? My bad. So, Rigid Body 2D dot. Now the game object this script is attached to also has a rigid body. So this rigid body dot add force new vector 2 0 10 speed force mode 2D dot impulse. Okay, now why isn't it detecting the thing? No, wait. Maybe if I do this instead, dot get. Oh, whoops. I made a real stupid mistake. I'm typing in the name of the class, not the name of the game object. Player character. Dot get component body 2D. Dot add force let's hope this works. Whoa, okay. I'm a rocket man. I don't think I want to do that. I mean, this is because of my Yeah, it is because of that one line of code. Alright. The hell? Cannot convert flight from vector 1. So, I guess... Hmm. Three dot. Time dot delta time. Alright, let's see if this works. Okay, this isn't working. How about 100? It doesn't seem to be doing anything. It's supposed to add force. Okay. Like I said, it's been a while since I've actually used Unity, so I'm still learning some stuff. I don't know why the add force isn't working. Let's just try it like this. Translate. Isn't there a TD translate? jump speed times time delta time. Let's give it a try. Wait, oh wait, yep, it's actually working. I think 100 may be a little too much though. Okay, so what I basically did, let's create an animation called walking animation. And let's put an animator on him. Animation controller. When she enters in, he's going to play the idle animation, which for now is just going to be the frame we're currently using, this one. This one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the other animation. We're going to go into the file we made earlier. Go into the no, not the animator. Animation. And add the walking animation to this. Holy crap, that's way too quick. Let's space that out a little bit. Okay, that's a lot better. Frame delay 0.13. The thing is, we start here, so... Okay, that's better. Alright, cool. So that's the temporary... That's the temp animation we have running here. And... let's just say if... No, wait, those are the different layers. My bad. What I mean is we need different parameters. That's called movement speed. If movement speed is... If the movement speed is greater than 0, go here. If the movement speed is less than 0.1, so if it's greater than 0, go into the walking animation. If it's less than 0. Why doesn't it have less than or equal? Okay. Now here's another thing. I can't remember how I did this part. Wait, weren't we focusing on jumping before? Shit, we were. Alright, let's just focus on the animations at the moment. Let's go for an animator. Call it anim. Hello, Master Plays. Welcome to... Hello, Master Plays. Welcome to the channel. Oh. Hang on. I'm just messing around with Unity. I'm not really doing much, if I'm being honest. Just making a small prototype of a side-scroller. Anim is equal to player character dot get component And the component is an animator. And if everything goes well, I'm hoping things could probably change. Dot get get parameter and get behavior. Control the Unity Oh, okay. No, I get it now. It's called... What I need to do is... dot set float there we go. Set float called movement speed to whatever translation is, I guess. Let's see how that works. Oh wow, okay. Alright, but good news. The animation is sort of working. It's just we need to make it loop, that's all. So, the way we do that is by... I guess we do that by... this. Yep, there we go. But one problem we need to fix is the fact that okay, for starters, let's just widen the area a bit so we have more roaming room for our character. Then okay, so the walking animation works fine. It's just we need to make it so that the character walks a certain way. We just need to make it so that the character walks a certain way. Hang on, I'll revise that. Basically what we need to do is make sure that the character is looking the other way when he's moving the other way. So if we, I don't know, materials. I mean, we can flip it like this. Hang on. What if it's also less? But that would just contradict this, won't it? It annoys me there's no equals. Because if we do it like this now, no wait, we need it to be greater than . We need it to be greater than 0, but at the same time less than 0. .1. It's like I need to make extra arrow. It's like I need to make separate arrows. Oh wait, I guess I can do that. Okay. So if it's less than 0 then. If it's less than 0.1, I guess. It annoys me that there is no equals on here. Would be more beneficial if there were more equals. If it's greater than 0.1, if it's greater than 0.1 or less than negative 0.1, then it should operate. Okay, looks like all I just need... Okay, I guess there's really no need for an exit condition at the moment. Okay, maybe I should edit it a tiny bit so that instead of 0.1, it's 0.01. So it doesn't wait a second. So it waits sort of like a millisecond instead of a second for it to move. Now what we need to do actually, that's a point. Why don't I just make a method for movement? Paste this into here and okay, the reason why I'm doing this is because it allows me to sort of, well, it sort of evens things out, to put it bluntly. If hit the ground. And then set grounded to false. Now that should, I mean, it's not the best fix, but okay, there's something wrong with that jump. It's not smooth, it's laggy. Guess something really needs to be done about that. If translation